we've got some fundamental pieces that we believe in, which is we believe that this company has unlimited growth. We also believe that this company is going to continue to make money. I think the days or the idea of burning cash, those are over. And I think anybody in the small cap space can probably tell you that. So sustainable growth, profitable growth, unlimited opportunity. I think that's really where we kind of see the opportunity.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Neil Sweeney. He is the CEO of Reklaim. And Neil, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, excited to have you along and learn about what's been going on. I know there's been pretty exciting developments with the company in the last little while. We'll get to all that in a minute. But first off, tell me a little bit about Reklaim.
Sure. So the quick synopsis on Reklaim is we started this company about a half a dozen years ago, really to give consumers a seat at the table as it relates to their data. I think everybody can appreciate that they have a data profile. Most people can probably understand that that data is being collected, used to power a number of businesses. But the gap that we've always felt in the market is that this is consumer property, and consumers really have no visibility or optionality around that. So the creation of Reklaim was to give consumers a seat at the table. You can come to Reklaim today, which you can find in the App Store, verify you are who you say you are. We will show you all of the data that is circulating on you on the internet today. You can then reclaim it into an identity wallet controlled by you, at which point you can edit it, add to it, and then option it directly to a brand and receive compensation directly in the form of cash, crypto, charitable donations, etc., for if and when it's actually used. So we believe we're the only company in the world that's providing this solution, and we've been doing it for a while now.
Yeah. It's interesting, Neil. I was talking to someone the other day and they were talking to me about they wanted to be an influencer. They were trying to be, but they didn't know how to start with it. They didn't know how to sort of take what they have and their data and make it into something. It sounds like you're sort of taking that step for people who would like to do something like this, but really don't know how to get started or really don't know that their data is really worth anything.
Yeah, the influencer comment's an interesting one because we've obviously seen a ton of influencers in the market. The thing that I always point to is, where do those influencers make all their money? Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. They don't own any of that data. The people that own that data are the people that own those individual platforms. So clearly there's a movement here regarding the personal brand, but what's disconnected from that is the idea of the data ownership. That's exactly what we've been doing. And I think there's been some changes in the market over the last 12 months where the data laws historically have been, you can accumulate all this data unbeknownst to a consumer, amalgamate it, arbitrage it, and sell it. Those days are over. So just in the same way that we've seen these macro transitions from combustion engine to EV or from bricks and mortar to online, the same macro trend is happening in data. Going forward, you will not be able to collect and use data without consumer inclusion, period. And we're talking about a $700 billion market. So there's a massive, massive transition that's going on here. And to put it in perspective, it's a $700 billion market. It also has there's 8 billion consumers in the world today. Every single one of them has a data profile that they could potentially take advantage of. So really, I think the whole genesis around Reklaim was, this trend is happening, whether Reklaim is around or not. There needs to be companies that are sort of stepping into this gap to fill it. And there's always work to do, but I think we've demonstrated not only an ability to satisfy this for consumers. There's been a lot of companies that have tried to do this. They've all gone broke. So we've really been the only company that's been able to create a real business with real clients, Fortune 500 clients, make money, grow revenue, earn margin. So it's not this isn't a concept stock. I think everybody naturally agrees with the premise, but can it actually manifest into a real business? I think we've definitely demonstrated that, and more specifically over the last 12 months, where we've hit some pretty important milestones.
Yeah, you've recently had your record Q2 numbers, in fact. So you're putting this into actual work as well when you talk about it, because it's showing up in your numbers. You mentioned your margins as well. I mean, it sounds like things are really progressing the way you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you start, anybody who is a serial entrepreneur, and I'm one of them, you are a bit of a masochist, I think, in the sense the early days are tough. You're grinding away. There's a ton of capex, but when you get on the other side of that, and you're past the idea of concept, and now you have a real business, you're into the kind of the growth stage of the company. And so, we've got some fundamental pieces that we believe in, which is we believe that this company has unlimited growth. We also believe that this company is going to continue to make money. I think the days or the idea of burning cash, those are over. And I think anybody in the small cap space can probably tell you that. So sustainable growth, profitable growth, unlimited opportunity. I think that's really where we kind of see the opportunity. And, I think that when you look at where the business is, we made money last year. We told everybody we were going to make money. Nobody listened to us. But anyway, that's fine. We made money. We're saying the same thing again this year, and we expect to have, growth on top of that. So we think that the stock will eventually cooperate, because there's one thing that I believe in, is that capitalists have an uncanny ability to find value. And so if we keep building good quarters and good revenue, things should generally work out.
Okay. And one last thing I want to ask you about is the emergence of artificial intelligence. Is that a bonus for what you do? Is it a hindrance, or how do you look at AI?
It's a big question. So I think, there's a lot of hysteria around AI. It tends to manifest in kind of two spots, either in the chip space, where you can't kind of get away from the NVIDIA conversation, or it ends up in the productivity space. I think we're not in the chip space, and we've already done the productivity piece of the equation. I think the real question as it relates to AI is, can you create a new product with AI that actually generates revenue? For us, we have a beta of a new product out. It'll be more kind of commercially launched probably at the end of this particular month, but it's a personal AI privacy assistant. And I think the important piece with this is that I think what we've noticed is that there is an issue here specifically around data security and breaches. Everybody's been victimized by a Ticketmaster breach, or an AT&T breach, or a LifeLabs breach. The issue, though, is that with AI and the evolution of security, if we don't change the way in which data is stored, you can pretty much expect all of your personal information to be available on the dark web. And so what happens there is companies that actually leak data will get fined and charged, but the consumer is left to deal with the exhaust of this for years to come. That's why you see all these spam messages or phishing messages on your phone. What our product really is there to do is really answer personal questions for you. So it will alert you to the fact that, yes, there's been a breach at Ticketmaster. Secondly, yes, you were in it. Thirdly, you can ask the question, what should I do? We will help you secure the data, join a class action lawsuit, add individual, privacy tools to kind of help protect your data. And the great thing about AI is that, it's inherently patient. So you can ask, and it doesn't judge. So you can ask really anything you want. And we built this on top of Facebook's Llama model, and we've been using some of the most progressive products. So net, I think the idea here is that AI has got to be part of everybody's business. And if you don't have AI in your business, you probably won't have a business. I think what's important for us is, I think we're one step ahead of everybody else in that we're not looking at AI as a way to save headcount. We're looking at AI as a way to generate new revenue from new products. So we'll see how this new product works in conjunction with the compensation side of the individual business. But this product is a subscription. We will launch it North America wide. It will go globally. We're pretty excited about that.
Sounds like it. Neil, thank you so much. Great to catch up with what you're up to, and I really appreciate your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Neil Sweeney, the CEO of Reklaim.